Selamat sejahtera to Miss Liza. My name is Jia Rong, and I will now start to present my work. First is the project synopsis. Healthcare industry, they will find it difficult to manage the patient record physically, so we decided to develop a medical record system that store the patient's data and record digitally. So the medical record system allow the user to enter the patient detail, appointment information, prescription, and bill. And after that, all the information will be stored in the medical record txt, which is act as the database of our system. And we can also display the output on the console screen. And here is the objective. First, allow the user to enter and record the patient's personal information digitally. And after that, allow the user or the medical staff to search the patient's record that was recorded in the database, and also allow the doctor to review the patient's basic body health, such as the blood pressure that was input by the user, and then allow the medical staff to track the medical prescription, and then also for the bill information to be reviewed by the admin or the patient.
Hi, my name is Natasya and I'm going to explain about UML diagram and flowchart. So now for the UML diagram, we have total 9 class, and then the first relationship is inheritance, which the person is the base class, and then guardian and patient is inherit from the person class. So we have one aggregation, which is the patient and guardian. The patient cannot exist without the guardian. So for the composition, we have 6 composition, which is relationship between the bill in insurance, patient and bill, patient and appointment, appointment and diagnosis, prescription and medicine, patient and prescription. So for the composition, they cannot exist independently without each other. For the flowchart, the admin need to enter choice between 1 until 6. So to register the patient, need to enter choice 1, and then count patient must be less than 100. So proceed to enter patient's name and phone number, and then enter patient's IC. IC must be 12, so that it will detect the gender using the IC number. If the IC number is odd, and then the gender is male. If the IC number is even, the gender is female. And then it will detect the age digit from the first 2 number in IC, and then it will calculate the age using the age digit. If the age less than 18, so the patient will need the guardian. But if the patient age is not less than 18, so doesn't need the guardian. So it will store the information in the medical record. And then for the choice 3, which to add the prescription, enter the patient IC, and then detect if patient is registered, and then need to enter number of medicine. Example, if I have one choice, example if I have one medicine, and then I need to enter the medicine name and dosage, such as cetirizine, dosage 20 mg per day, and then need to make sure the medicine name and dosage is not null, which is empty, or else they will return to the menu.
Continue the flowchart presentation. For choice 2, they'll ask you to enter the patient's IC, and then they will check whether the patient is registered. If no, return to 1, and which is the enter choice again. If yes, they will ask you to input this detail, enter date, and then all this, enter date, enter time, enter doctor ID, and then enter blood pressure, enter heart rate. They will have input validation. If you give a empty input, they will ask you to go back to input again and again until you give them a input. And for the heart rate here, if your heart rate is empty or your heart rate is bigger than 0, then you can continue to the enter allergic to medicine. enter allergy to medicine is the only variable that don't have the input validation. So if your heart rate is either empty or smaller than 0, they will ask you to go back to enter the heart rate again and again. So after this, they will ask you to enter the diagnosis. Again, if empty, they will ask you to go back. If not empty, so they will start to store all the results into the medical record txt file and then return to enter choice. So number 4 is the same. Enter patient register or not, and then they will ask you to enter this information. Here, if the insurance status is white, either capital letter or small letter, they will ask you to enter this information, company insurance ID, and they have a formula here. They will calculate the amount due, which is the amount you have to pay after your percentage discount, and then they will store all the information into the database and then return to the enter choice. But if your input is other than Y, they will not calculate anything for you. They will just the amount due will be the total amount, and then they will store the information into the txt file and then return to the one which is the enter choice. So number 5 is also to enter patient IC and then check whether the patient exists or not, and then enter display record. So if you want to display record, you input Y, and then they will display the record, and then they will return to enter choice. But if you enter anything other than Y, any character other than Y, that means you don't want to display the output, and then they will go back to the enter choice. And for the choice 6, is the exit, means to end the program. And now here, if you enter anything that is not between 1 and 6, the number is not 1 and 6 for the choice, they will go back to the enter choice. They will ask you to enter the choice again and again.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izzati, and today I'm going to present about OOP implementation. So first, we have inheritance, which is person and patient, and person and guardian. For person and patient, patient is a type of person. It allows the use of common attributes and methods for patient information, such as IC and age. So here where we implement the inheritance in our coding. Next, person and guardian. Guardian is a type of person. It allows the use of common attributes and methods for guarded information, such as relationship. Next, we have composition, which both class involved are dependent. So we have 6 relationship. First, patient and appointment. Patient class has the appointment object, and appointment cannot exist without a patient. Next, patient and prescription. Patient class has the prescription object. A prescription cannot exist without a patient. Third, appointment class has the diagnosis object. Every diagnosis only exists through an appointment. Fourth, prescription and medicine. Prescription class has the medicine object. Medicine cannot exist without a prescription. Fifth, patient and bill. Patient class has the bill object. A bill cannot exist without the patient. Last, bill and insurance. Bill class has the insurance object. Insurance exists only to be used in the bill class. So here is our where we implement our composition in the coding. So this is for each class. Next, polymorphism. Polymorphism allows a base class function to be overridden and called polymorphically. It uses virtual to use dynamic binding. For example, in our base class person, here we have void display info. Then array of objects. We using static arrays and used to store records such as patients, prescription, and bills. So we put our array in our INT main.
Okay, so I will continue the OOP concept with encapsulation. So it's hiding the internal details of an object and only allowing access through control method, getter or setter. So you can see we have applied the encapsulation in our coding. So this is our screenshot. Okay, next, exception handling. It allows program to deal with the problem in a controlled manner. Lastly, STL vector automatically adds space as more is needed, which no need to determine size at definition. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. So this is my coding for our system. So for the first thing first, I'm going to run my coding. Okay. Okay, so first, for my system, it will appear like this. It will appear medical record system, and it will appear 6 different menus such as register patient, enter appointment, add prescription, generate bill, and search patient and exit. So, for the first time user need to enter 1 for register patient. Okay, but in another case, if the patient is don't know whether the information for patient's information is exists or not in our data, we can just enter 5 for search patient, and user just need to enter the patient's IC in order to check the detail or data for the patients. So for example, I will enter the patient's IC. So okay. So it will appear patient cannot be found in the file. So that means the data for that patient is not exist. So because of that, user need to enter 1 for register new patient. Okay. So first, user need to enter patient's name. So I will enter the patient's name, and then the phone number, and then IC without dash and 12 digit only. Okay. Okay. And then we're done. Okay, so for the age and gender, it will automatically determine by the system. For the age, it will automatically calculate from the 2 digits of user of the patient's IC. It will calculate with the number of it will subtract the number of current year and user and patient's birth year. Okay, so for the gender, it determined from the last digit of patient's IC. Whether if the last digit of patient's IC is odd, so so it is male. But if it's even, so that means the gender for the patient is female.
I will do the appointment module. So first, in our coding, you can see that I already enter the patient. I already register the patient. So next, I just choose 2 and enter patient IC again. Okay, and it will display appointment info. So just enter the date. And time, and then enter doctor ID and my blood pressure, and heart rate. And allergic to medicine, and the none. I will just say none. And diagnosis, I will put flu. Okay. And then this is all what gonna be displayed in when we press number 2.
In the database, the patient is already registered, and I will directly start to show you my input output and the function of my module 3. So first, you enter module 3, you enter 3, and then enter the IC just now that is already registered in the database. So number of medicine, you can input 1, and then medicine name, up to you, Panadol, and the dosage is also up to you, 12 mg per day, plus is string type. Okay, so you can now exit. You can exit to check the prescription you entered just now is recorded, and you go back again. So if you enter again, add prescription and the IC just now, the patient just now. So number of medicine, if you input 1, but the name you leave it empty, you enter nothing. Dosage you enter nothing. This one is the try and catch function. They will say prescription input failed, and then they will return to the main function, and then you can use the 5 to search. Display the record. And then you can see the first one is recorded, but the second one the empty one is not recorded. There's nothing recorded, and then you input 6. In the database, you can also see there is nothing for the second prescription.
So I'm going to explain about module 4, which is bill. So now I'm trying to enter the input and show the output. So we choose the choice 4 to generate the bill, and then enter the IC number, and then enter the total amount, like example 30, and then I have insurance, and then insurance company, Haiqal, and then the insurance ID, and then this discount percentage. If 100, then I put 100. So now for the output, we press 5 to search the patient. So display the record. So we got the amount due is 0, because the discount is 100%. So this is the module bill. So as we can see, if we open the medical record.txt, we can see all the information about the patient from module 1 until module 4, until bill. So all the information is stored in the medical record.txt.